Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Saturday Night Sleepover. I'm your host, Charli, and today we're joined by Ro.
Hello.
Hello. I met Ro at the podcasting conference, and because she's the host of the Interform podcast, but that's not all she is. She is the communications manager and podcast host with Interform podcast. Well, Interform has a podcast. And then she's a professional model and model coach for Interform's most well-known fundraising event, NWA Fashion Week. So that is fascinating.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me on. Everybody, I want you to know how patient Charli is because I am a senior citizen who forgot, and she's like, hey, do we need to reschedule? I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. So thank you for your patience.
No problem. I shot my shot last week because you posted on your Instagram story that you are obsessed with ancient aliens. And I was like,
yes!
I could talk about ancient aliens for 5 ever.
That show, when I first started watching it, I was like, I don't know. I think this is a little much. But the more I got into it, I got so intrigued by the theories that they were saying, right? Because I thought it was just oh, aliens are real, which honestly, I do believe aliens are real. I don't think we can be the only living creatures in this giant, universe. But then when they started diving deeper into different religions and how when people have religious sightings and spiritual awakenings, that they might be mistaking that for, but not mistaken, but that may be an extraterrestrial. Instead of being angels or gods, they're actually extraterrestrials. And technically that's, the same thing because they are not of this earth. So I think, what really amazed me is that how different countries who had no contact with each other at all are recording and drawing and telling stories about the exact same thing. That can't be a coincidence. You know what I mean?
For sure.
It's I don't know. Do you watch Ancient Aliens?
I've watched Ancient Aliens before, but I also watch a lot of Y-Files. Have you watched that before?
What? Girl, tell me about it.
Y-Files, WHY Files. It's a YouTube channel. It's a guy, he just he's an excellent storyteller, and he presents you a story that he either believes or doesn't believe, and he can find both sides of the story and say, well, actually on this day he couldn't have been there because of this, or this is disputed for this reason, but here's the facts. You say you believe what you want to believe. And he does things like Mothman or time travel or different alien stuff. He does all kinds of just wacky supernatural kind of stuff.
Oh, okay. And you get to decide whether or not you believe it or not.
Yeah, it's kind of like choose your own adventure, but choose what your reality is.
Oh, I like that. I'm definitely gonna have to.
And he has a talking fish that does funny bits with him. So.
Oh, even better.
Yeah.
Entertainment is always funny, better when it's funny, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So speaking of potential religious holidays.
Yes.
This episode will actually come out on Christmas Eve. So Merry Christmas, all the listeners.
Yes. Merry Christmas. Happy
holidays. Yeah.
That.
I wondered if what kind of holiday traditions do you have, whether it's about winter solstice, anything from winter solstice to hardcore Christmas or whatever. I don't even know anything about what religious beliefs or anything you are. So you could be anything.
Yeah, well, I mean, I would say I'm loosely Christian, right? I'm not a rigid religious person, but we do celebrate Christmas, and we love to, and this is me and my son, my 14-year-old son, we love to watch Scrooged. And we love to make gingerbread houses. That's one of those 2 things that we always do every year for the holiday. So it makes us happy.
I am a Scrooge. Grinch. I hate Christmas. But I do love making all of the like Christmas candy with my husband's family when we lived not here. We used to go over to their house and make divinity. Have you ever had divinity before?
No.
It's sort of like a heavier cotton candy.
Ooh, that sounds really good.
Yeah. And so we would make that and then give it to all of our neighbors and stuff. And that's the thing. I just like being like nice and having people be nice. that's
Yeah.
that's my favorite part of the season.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I do like the nice part. I don't like the I don't like decorating.
I
I
don't like
really don't.
decorating either.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. It feels like a chore and it feels like I just don't have I feel like I don't want to put I'm not going to say I don't have time. I just don't want to do it, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes. And the thing, I I used to watch sometimes here and there Big Bang Theory, and there is episode about Christmas and how like the gift giving is all about reciprocity. Um,
Oh.
anyway, I don't like that part of the gift giving. Like I just want to give people presents whenever I feel like giving like people presents, and sometimes that's at Christmas time, and sometimes it's not. So I have a hard time with that.
Yeah, I totally understand. I would rather give than to receive. Sometimes I feel uncomfortable receiving gifts. I don't know. Maybe it's like a trauma response. Who knows? You don't know if you're like you feel worthy enough for the gift, or you feel like, especially when someone gives me a gift and I didn't get them. Like they got me a
Yeah.
gift and didn't tell me that they were going to give me a gift, and so it's like,
Mm-hmm.
wow, I don't have anything to give you. And most of the people who do that are, they're not transactional, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it should be. But at the same time, it makes me feel bad. I want to, like you said, it's about reciprocity sometimes, and
Mm-hmm.
you never want to just take and not. Sometimes it makes me feel ungrateful. So.
And so there's all different kinds of cultures that we're like going across too, and you never know. Like, how do you feel about this? Like, is it transactional? Like, so in that episode of Big Bang Theory, are you familiar with the characters on that show?
I am. I've only seen a few episodes, but I'm familiar enough to know who the characters are.
Okay, so Penny, pretty girl that lives next door, is
Yes, the blonde.
giving a gift to Sheldon, socially awkward nerd next door who doesn't understand social cues all the time.
Right.
And he
So
understands them differently.
He might be autistic, right?
He could be. I don't know. They never addressed it. But so he says on the show, like, I don't like giving gifts because it's all about reciprocity. Like, I have to, then if you're gonna get me a gift, I have to then find an equally priced gift somewhere in the same range to give back to you. And so what he does is he goes out and he buys a series of gift baskets, smaller to bigger and all different and medium. And he's like, depending on what she gets me, I will give her one of these baskets. So Penny is a waitress. Are you familiar with Star Trek?
Yes.
Okay. So for anybody who's not familiar with Star Trek, Leonard Nimoy, who has since passed away, but he played Spock, yes. And so Penny's a waitress, and she waited on Spock, and she got him to sign his napkin that he used. So she gave him a used napkin, and she's like, "This is what I got you for Christmas. I thought you would like it. Just trying to be thoughtful." And he freaks out. He's like, "You gave me the DNA of Spock. I can now make a clone of him." And then he goes into his apartment and gets all of the gift baskets and say, "It will never be enough." And every time I think about gift giving at Christmas, I think about that, because I'm like, you never know, like, what will mean so much to somebody, and then what because it's a used napkin.
Right.
But it has the
Oh my
DNA
gosh.
of Spock on it.
And that's pretty big because he's a trekkie, you know.
Yeah. So that's what I think about whenever I think about gift giving at Christmas. But that's a hot take, I guess.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. But I do love that everybody is like excited to like be giving and receiving. I think that's important part of culture.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. And then I think the other part that I don't like about it is like there's this mom pressure that I feel. I used to feel. I don't feel that anymore, but I used to feel it every year about like, am I getting my kid enough? You know, am I a bad parent because I don't get my and you know you're not, but it doesn't mean you don't feel like you're not.
And
Right?
well, I've heard, I don't have kids, but I've heard that there's like is it magic, am I making it magical enough?
Yeah, like, exactly. Like, I don't want my kid to look back on memories and think like, you know, my mom didn't do what she could, you know, or I didn't have very good Christmases, so now I'm in therapy. You know what I mean? Like, you never know.
Yeah. Well, your kid's always going to end up in therapy. You just got to like figure out which sin was egregious enough, I guess.
I know, right?
Yeah. So I'm actually grateful for you being flexible because we originally planned to record tomorrow, but then I impulsively signed up to do stand-up comedy for the first time in my life.
Oh yeah. How'd
I've
that
never
go?
done it, but I'm doing it tomorrow. I don't know if you met Caitlin at the podcast conference, but I met her. She is the host of the Wellness Mamas, and she recently did an episode with us, but then also we became friends. And she is going to be bad for my impulsivity. I can already tell because she was like, I'm going to do this thing. Do you want to do it with me? And I was like, yeah, if you do it, I'll do it. Like, just because that's
Yeah, exactly.
I'm that kind of person. Like I will like full send like anything that it gets put in front of me most of the time. So not anything, obviously. If it's illegal, I'm not going to. But I usually will like just, if somebody else is doing it, I'll just, yeah, let's go do it. How could it be? How hard could it be? So that I've always wanted to do it, and I like a stand up is like I feel like I could probably, there's two things. One, I thought that I would probably be good at like being a radio host, but I never got into that, so then I started a podcast, and then I thought, oh, I probably would be pretty good at stand up, so we're gonna find that out tomorrow, but I'll probably flop because it'll be my first time. But anyway.
Gotcha. Well, I don't think you'll flop. Like, I mean, there are seasoned comedians who are really not funny. So like I
Yeah.
just, you know what I mean? Like, I really think that you have a good way of like gauging people and like reading the room just from what little interaction I've had from you. So I feel like you're going to do better than you think you're going to do.
Oh, thanks. Have you done it before?
No, I thought about it, but I also had that same fear. And then there's that other fear of like other comedians like thinking like, oh, well, what, you know, what makes you think you can do this? Like with like we're professionals, or like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
just going into somebody else's territory. And then I am like kind of sensitive. So if people don't laugh at my jokes, like how am I going to respond to that? You know what I mean? I don't
Yeah.
know if I can take it. I don't know if I can. But it's like I did hear you know, older people when they, you know, talk about their regrets, you know, I wish I would spent more time and traveled. They said you regret more of the things that you didn't do than the things that you did do. So
Absolutely.
yeah, that's something, you know, something to think about for sure.
Well, I have done improv before, and I
Oh, I
feel
would
like,
love to do improv. Did you enjoy
yeah,
it?
I love doing improv. I think it's so much fun. But it's also, I'm a very impulsive person, so it's like, if you're gonna put something with improv is like you always do like yes and, so you do it, and so yes, I will take what you give me and I will add to it. And so because I'm impulsive, I will just yes and anything.
Right.
So yes, but you've also done radio work as well, correct?
Yeah, I worked for Cumulus Broadcasting in Northwest Arkansas. So like Power 105.7 and Radio John Deeg, they're all under one umbrella. And I was an on-air personality, and I was a promotions coordinator. And then I went to another radio station after that called Star 101.5. They played like 70s, 80s, and 90s music, and I was an on-air personality there as well. But then I did sales, which I really hated because people, even at our big age, they cannot, answer a direct question. Like, they just can't say no. They would prefer to waste your time and give you the runaround than to just say, hey, we don't have the money, or I'm not interested. And you could be working with somebody for months and they're like, yeah, I'm all in. I want to buy, radio, some ads. And then they ghost you or they cancel. And it's just like, it's not a very reliable source of income for me. I need to know, that my money is going to be there. And so I couldn't do that anymore. And there's also not a whole lot of money in radio. So
because it's a free
really
service.
Fun. Yeah, it's really fun, but like there's not a whole lot of
Similarly, there's not a lot of money in podcasting.
Right. It's like a passion thing that you do. Now I do know like other areas like Nashville and like Houston and places like that. They have a bunch of radio stations. They even have a bunch of radio stations in Little Rock. But it just depends on the area. And I needed more money.
Fair. So you transitioned into modeling and modeling coaching, correct?
Yeah. Well, I've been modeling since I was like 19, and I'm 41 now. So I modeled, but it's not something you can quit your day job though, unless you plan on moving to New York or like, overseas or something like that, and you just have all the time and money to support that, then you can't do it. It's really hard to do it full time, and then especially as you get older. So I do it now just like part-time and supplemental income, and I mentor other people to help them not make the same mistakes that I made by thinking that people are who they say they are, because there are a bunch of weirdos out there who will say that they want you to do a shoot or model. And they can have ulterior motives.
I've had friends that have gotten in trouble that way.
Yeah, it's just a really hard industry to navigate, and people lie, and people say that they're scouts for this and that they can get you this, and there's scammers reaching out to people on the internet like, oh yeah, we want you to be in the shoot, just send us your bank account information
what
for payment. And I'm like, you ain't gonna get me. I'm too cheap to be scammed.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, just helping people navigate through that. And like, I hated when people told me that I couldn't model because I was either too like not small enough, or I was too old, or you had a kid or whatever. Like, people just see one side of modeling, like the high fashion runway, like the super skinny models.
Secret.
And they think that that's all you can do. That's totally not true. They need people to be on toothpaste ads. They need people to be on, like all kinds of different products. It's not just for skinny, age 20. So
one of my favorite things is to see if you can find like famous people in like stock pictures.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like, I like doing that too. I like seeing old commercials of like people who are super famous actresses now that started off modeling. I think it's really cool because like modeling is like a stepping stone to do other things. But I feel like anybody can do it. That's my thing.
What's your favorite part of the modeling industry?
My favorite part is connecting with other people, and like other people that are in the modeling industry, like photographers, because like once you network with them and like build a relationship, then they continue to seek you out and book you, especially if you show up on time. Because like I think the most thing I like about it is proving people wrong. That I'm gonna say that, because at 41, no one thinks that a mom is, what I'm saying, getting steady work modeling or doing voiceover gigs, but I am, and I'm really thankful for that. And people think you have to be attractive or like tiny to model, but honestly, you really just have to be like on time, available, and have like semi-great skin. It's not, what I'm saying, like it's not like exclusive as people think.
That needs to go on a shirt. Modeling
No, for
is being
real.
on time.
Yeah.
What was it? Being on time, showing up, being available, and having semi-great skin.
Yeah. You just have to, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, show that you can be flexible with your schedule. And luckily I have, my job at Interform. They allow me to do that and just make up the hours in some other way
Mm-hmm.
because it falls right in line with my job. So it's
Mm-hmm.
perfect. It's
Yeah.
absolutely perfect.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
How did you first get into modeling industry?
Um, when I was 18, my mom said that I should model just because I was tall and skinny. And I was like, no, because I was kind of a tomboy.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was this scouting thing that came to our city, and they said that I could model, and I was like, yeah, okay, whatever, I'll believe it when I see it. And then I got my first paid modeling gig, and it was for a fashion show at a mall.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know what? It wasn't until after I got paid that I
Mm-hmm.
was like, okay, I'm interested. Okay, I
Let's
will
try
seek
this
it
out.
out. Yeah, exactly. Because at first I thought it was just total baloney. And some of it is after that. It's not all, fun and games. There are some really rude people, some really mean people um, that will say things to you, like things that you need to work on or
Mm-hmm.
comment on your body. And it's really not for the weak. I'll
You
tell you
said
that.
you were sensitive. Like how
Yeah, if
how
you're
does that
sensitive,
work?
listen, I would just go home and cry. But like
Oh no.
but I powered through it simply because it's something that I wanted to do at the time. And it ended up working out. I'm still sensitive. I just don't show it as much as I would have when I was 19. Like I've
Mm-hmm.
matured since then, but I am still like a giant baby.
Mm-hmm.
So
Fair.
it's all about the timing at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, isn't that all of life? Balance and timing.
You know what? That's a valid point.
Mm-hmm.
That's a valid point. It's all about timing with literally everything.
Mm-hmm. Have you always been from Arkansas?
I moved here in 2012, right after my divorce, and my mom passed away like within 2 months of each other. So,
Wow.
um,
That's intense.
it was really intense. My husband at the time actually got somebody pregnant. So I was like, okay, well, it's over.
Wow, that was a
Yeah.
2012 was rough.
Yeah, 2012 was super rough. My son was 3 at the time. My best friend lived here in Arkansas. She got her master's degree, and she said, "Why don't you just come here and start over?" And I said, "I don't know. I can't just uproot and move." And she said, "You can't heal in the same place that made you sick." And I said, "You know what?
That's
Yeah,
wise.
you are right." So I took my 3-year-old son, my Volkswagen Beetle. It was like a 98. It was a death trap. I don't know how I made it from Tennessee to Arkansas in that
Mm-hmm.
trap. And a bag of clothes. And I slept on my friend's couch until I worked at Dillard's and saved up enough money to get a 1-bedroom apartment. And then things progressively started going better from there. I started working at the radio station and, was finally able to afford some furniture. So
Wow. Well, I mean, that is like a huge success story.
thank you. I appreciate that. It was a very rough start, but you know what? I am happy it happened, and it has made me a stronger and better person for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like
2000.
I'd lost my identity like when I was married. Like I was just you know what I mean? Like a wife
Yeah.
and mom. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't really have an identity on my own. So after that, it was like, okay, I could figure out who I am right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was great.
That's awesome. And then at the same time raising a kid by yourself.
Yeah, that's super hard.
Yeah.
Super hard. Like with because I needed assistance for childcare.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I don't want food stamps. I just want childcare assistance. And they're like, technically you have to be on food stamps to have childcare assistance. And I was like, this is a really weird system, but okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't, but I definitely struggled until my son was able to like get into Head Start or pre-K.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
then that's when things got better because I was like, gosh, y'all are killing me on this childcare.
And now he's in high school?
Yeah, he is a freshman in high school. He's
How's that?
old. It's challenging. It's challenging because you're trying not to be a helicopter parent, but you're trying to, make sure you're present during
Mm-hmm.
certain times. But trusting your kid is all you can do sometimes.
Yeah. And he's in that weird time of like you're in high school, but you can't drive yourself yet.
Yeah, for sure.
So you still have to
And
be in school pickup line, but it's for a 14-year-old.
yes, and it's like, sometimes they don't want to hug or kiss you, you know what I mean? Like
Oh.
before they get out of the car because it's embarrassing. But most of the time he does actually, so I'm surprised. I'm waiting on that day when he's like, yeah, no more of that.
Do you have like the cool friend house that everybody comes over?
No,
That's how I envision.
I don't ever want that. Like,
Oh, really?
yeah, I don't want a bunch of kids over here. I feel like I would like never have any separation. I feel like I'd be stressed all the time. Like I can't do that. I can't be that house.
That's okay.
That would drive me nuts.
Somebody else will be that house.
Yeah, somebody else can be that house. He has a best friend that he goes over to his house sometimes, and sometimes he comes over here. But as far as like more than one kid, no, I cannot.
Does your son do any extracurricular activities? Like
He does. He runs track, and he seems to really like it. We tried soccer, we tried basketball before. He was not a fan. So he seems to like track so far. We'll see. But either way, I'm not gonna make him do any sports that he doesn't want to do, like my parents did, because I resented them for it, and it was horrible. So he's gonna do
with a
whatever
mom
makes
like
him.
you, I expected like AV club or like something like that.
You know what? He actually does not like public speaking at all.
Oh.
He does like music, which we share that in common. He likes music that came out before he was born and things like that. So we
Cute.
definitely share that in common. But as far as like, maybe radio, audio, video production, not now. Maybe he'll grow into it. Who knows?
Maybe so. Well, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Do you guys have any, because it's Christmas break right now, are you doing anything Christmassy or fun or anything for the break?
No, not right now. We're gonna wait until, because I can only handle so much of the of the like holiday stuff. Like next week we will watch Scrooge, and then we'll do the gingerbread house thing. But right now he's enjoying his free time and playing video games, and I'm watching Ancient Aliens and 48 Hours.
Yeah.
True crime. Listen,
True
I
crime.
have heard so many things. Like, the people who love true crime are mostly women, and they are mostly the victims in like 90%. So it's like, why do we watch this?
Yeah. I saw a meme and it was like, being a woman is weird because you have to date your only natural predator.
Exactly, a man.
Yeah.
Like, but to me, I watch it because, and this is gonna sound morbid. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready. Go for it.
I watch it because no matter how bad of a day I have had, at least I didn't get murdered.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I could come home and watch, and this, someone got decapitated or something, and I'm like, oh my gosh, well, I'm over here complaining about, the workload.
Traffic.
It just makes you thankful, and then it makes you become a little bit more observant and diligent about certain things. And then you start trying to solve things yourself, and like, I don't know, I like the mystery of it.
Did you watch Making a Murderer?
No, I need to. Is that on Netflix?
Yeah, it's on Netflix. It was one that like everybody watched in 2020 when true crime started like ramping up. But I always wonder if like, because it's never clear if that guy did it or not.
I need to watch. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I missed it. I have watched. Have you watched that series, I Am a Killer and I Am a Stalker?
No, I haven't watched those ones.
Oh, girl, those are like first accounts of people who are literally in prison for murder or for stalking. And it is like so
fascinating.
It's fascinating because it's like a first-hand account. Usually they're talking to police officers, they're talking to
scientists, forensic people.
Yeah, I want to hear from them what happened. You know what I mean? You know what else I think they should do? I put this on my stories. they should. I want to watch a true crime show where someone says, you know what, that person was a real jerk, so I can see why people would want them out of
Oh,
here. I want that.
interesting.
I want people to, because you hear the same regurgitated like lines like, oh, they lit up a room and they'll give you the shirt off of their back. I want somebody to be like, yeah, that person was a real jerk.
Did you
And there's
watch Murtaugh Murders?
yes, oh my gosh, that
I
one was so
That's
interesting.
sort of in that vein. Like, not really, but
It is. It is. That no one has said that any of the Murdaughs were, well, they said the mom was like okay,
mm-hmm,
and that was from the housekeeper.
mm-hmm,
But yeah, they did say that. That's a good one.
mm-hmm.
One of the 48 hours episodes was about the young boy
Mm-hmm.
that got killed, and that they said he was connected to one of the
Oh
Murdochs.
yeah, my
Yeah.
coworker was telling me about that. That it was potentially covered up because like one of the sons, like was involved with him and like
Correct.
doing illegal things or like bringing the family name down or quotes air quotes.
Yeah. I'm picturing you doing that right now. Yeah.
Yeah, she was telling
His
me all about that.
mom was like talking about it, and she said that he had hinted to her like, oh, I'm getting ready to go, deep sea fishing or something. And she was like, with who? And she said, well, he said, I can't tell you because,
Yikes.
they're kind of, up there or famous or whatever. I was like, yo,
That's shady.
shady business, shady business.
Do you believe in conspiracy theories?
Some of them.
What's your favorite one?
Area 51.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, this is my favorite one, but was one of my favorite ones, but I don't necessarily believe it, but I just think it's interesting that birds aren't real.
Yeah, I think that one's interesting too. I think birds are real, but I do think that there probably are birds that are robots.
Sure, yeah, I will agree that can people put like robot birds out? Yeah, but like the theory that there are no real birds is wild to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the way that people stick to it.
Yeah, or the flat earthers.
Yes, that's a good one too. What lizard people?
Mm-hmm. Well, that comes up in Ancient Aliens, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. That one, I don't know. I couldn't get too sold on.
What about like star children and like alien DNA?
You know what? I believe that. I do. Because I have met some people in my life where I'm like, I don't know if they're from here, like not from America, like from on Earth. Like, I would be honest with you, I know this super tall guy. I'm not gonna say where he's from. I'm just gonna say he is abnormally tall,
mm-hmm.
but he has super small, not super small, but small for his height, hands and feet.
Mm-hmm.
And just his overall look, it's like I don't think that he is all human. I'm not saying that he looks bad, or I'm not commenting on his looks as far as like him being attractive or not attractive. I'm just saying that the dimensions don't add up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's something is off.
And I read about that too, or not I read about it. I saw that in Ancient Aliens about Anunnakis, about how they like came to Earth and like they loved Earth women, and then they had babies with Earth women, mm-hmm. and made like hybrid children. And I'm like, I don't know. I think that
I don't know about that.
It might be something to stew on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think it's
believable.
Because like when you think about, because they talked about again on Ancient Aliens, they talk about the missing link, right? How did we just jump super fast from supposedly primates, mm-hmm. to, really intelligent humans without interference?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Or like, how do we go from like using fires, like, and then like industrial revolution, like I understand that it can all unfold, but like the amount of technological advances that we've had since like electricity and like industrialization of products.
Yes.
Very interesting.
And then they said, on Ancient Aliens, they did one about Da Vinci, right?
Mm-hmm.
He went missing for like 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he came back, he had all this like knowledge of mathematics and like anatomy and stuff. And it's like, well, where was he these 3 years?
Do you think it was aliens, or do you think he time traveled?
Aliens! And both. No, both. It could be both.
Yeah.
The aliens were like, listen, we're going to pick you. We are going to, teach you all these things and take you to the future to see what it could look like. Because he had like the blueprint for helicopters and like, planes and things like that. So I feel like they took him, let him see it, write it down, and then sent him back.
Who do you think Da Vinci is? Like, we have all these like names that were 1,000 years old that we're still using their names. Like, who do you think Da Vinci of our day is going to be?
Man, that's hard.
Because my automatic response is Elon Musk, but like maybe not. I don't know.
Is he smart or is he just rich?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't, because it's really hard with knowledge that's like at our fingertips right now, like with the internet. It's hard for me to say that because I feel like anybody could be smart. It could be. Listen, Taylor Swift is making dumb money, dumb amounts of money. She's
affecting the economy.
Yes, I saw that. Mm-hmm. Like that's a real thing. I feel like if we're not talking, we need to expand our definition of what we mean by, the Da Vinci of our time. Like, do we mean somebody that's just smart, or do we mean somebody that's just influential to actually impact the world, like the economy? The economy is pretty serious.
I don't know. What do you think?
I think we have to have different categories.
Yeah. Okay. So if it's a really smart person or a really influential person, so really smart person, like I feel like there's so many smart people out there, but then like Area 51 snatches them up and you don't know who they are.
Yeah. There was a guy, I forgot his name. He was on Ancient Aliens though. He's a black guy that's like a microphysicist or something. I feel like he would probably be on there. Influential, obviously your girl Taylor is on there. That's number one. What other categories would we have?
I don't know, but another name popped in my head for influential is maybe Joe Rogan.
He's pretty influential, especially in the podcast world.
And like he's going against like major media outlets.
For sure.
Like not failing.
Yeah, he's a successful guy. I feel like he might be up there. Yeah, that's a good one.
I don't know. A lot of people listen to him, but also a lot of people listen to Joel Osteen. So, like,
yeah, he's influential in a different way, like I don't know.
What are our categories? Now we have to redefine our categories.
Okay, religion. Let's do religion since we're talking about Joel Osteen. Who are some religious powerful leaders?
Well, the Pope.
Of course. Okay. So he's before Joel.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. There's so many more Catholics out there, I would say, than there are. I don't know the statistics on this, but I would think like Catholics, like Rome conquered the whole world and then made everybody Catholic.
Yeah.
Eventually. I don't know. I was homeschooled.
Oh, were you?
Yeah. I don't actually know about history. I'm making this up.
How do you feel like you were at an advantage? Because I do.
Were you homeschooled?
No. I'm just saying, like, you being homeschooled, I feel like I wish I was homeschooled.
Okay, so I think that here's my opinion on homeschooling. I think there are pros and cons to it, just like there are regular school
Right.
or other types of school in general. One of the pros is that like you can't do things during the day. So like when I was like 14 years old, I had 5 jobs.
Oh.
Or I graduated high school when I was 15 and went to college when I was 16. Those are pros, those are advantages.
Yeah.
However, I didn't have like my mom maybe she had me when she was 39. So by the time I was like school aged, she'd already done the mom thing with my other 3 biological sisters, and then I had a stepsister that was 2 years older than me. So
Mm-hmm.
she'd already done the like homeschool, like full time, like put a lot of effort into it thing with my other 3 sisters. So by the time she got to me, I feel like maybe she was a little burned out and wanted to do her own thing. So I didn't really receive the same. Have you ever read the book Educated by Tara Westover?
I have not.
That book, I read it and it was very similar to my experience as homeschooling. So my mom was focused on her own thing, sort of, and I didn't. I got to like her thing was politics, so I got to go be on the campaign trail with her, which is really cool and a very
Oh,
interesting
wow.
experience. However,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't learn geometry. Like,
It's overrated and nobody uses it really.
yeah,
Like,
nobody uses it geometry. So is that a pro? Is that a con? I don't know, but like I wouldn't be able to pass a standardized test.
I
So
think those are baloney too.
yeah. So I mean, yes, I learned valuable life skills.
Yeah.
I did not have this. I had to learn social skills in a different way than everybody else. So mine are a little
Okay.
off.
I mean, you got a podcast. I feel like your social skills are pretty.
Oh, well, thank you. But they're not. I didn't learn them the same way. I have them now, but I didn't learn them the same way as everybody else,
Gotcha.
or at the same
Gotcha.
time, which was a challenge that I had to work through.
Yeah.
The that was the long answer. The short answer is I think that yes, it has some strong advantages, and then also there are some strong disadvantages, like you don't know the same things as everybody else. So I use it as an excuse quite often when I'm like, I don't know, I was homeschooled, don't ask me.
Like, don't ask me that. You know, another conspiracy theory I absolutely believe in is the whole Bermuda Triangle thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like 100%.
Yeah,
Because there's no like explanations. Like things are literally
going missing.
disappearing.
Well,
And
I think that the Bermuda Triangle is a portal to other dimensions. How do you feel about dimensions? Mm-hmm.
really, yeah, because like you know what you're saying has to be factual. Because think about it, how something can't just completely disappear
Mm-hmm.
without trace unless it goes to somewhere else, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if it was still there, we would have found it.
Mm-hmm. Do you know about a place called Skinwalker Ranch? I
Yes.
also believe that's a portal to another dimension.
Yes. Isn't it like right in line or something, like an alignment with the Bermuda
Oh gosh,
Triangle?
I don't even know that. That would be amazing if it
I think it
was.
is that one. Did you see that one about, I don't think I can say the word on a podcast. It's called the Unaliving Forest. It's like
Oh
in
no.
China. People actually go there to
No.
unalive. Yeah, it is weird. They have to, remove people who
That
have done that.
where is it?
It's like a job. People have to go through the forest to find
Collect
people.
people.
Yeah,
Wow, that's intense.
it is nuts.
Anyway, you said that was in China?
Yeah, I need to look it up. So that was another thing that was on Ancient Aliens, because they were talking about different places on Earth that are just like weird and unexplainable. And I was like, wow, it's kind of scary that place exists, but it's like, You can't tear down the forest, I guess. But
Yeah, and even if you did, it probably wouldn't change too much.
exactly, because the energy
Mm-hmm.
is like still there. Do you believe that when people get abducted, that they are implanted
Oh.
with like alien eggs? I don't know if I can grasp that. I can grasp that there are people on Earth that are part alien, and that's how. But then how'd they get that way?
Yeah. Well, and maybe they had an alien dad and a human mom, or other way around.
On their mom's side.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I'm alien on my mom's side. No, like I don't know about implanting, but I think it's in. But how did they get there? Because
Maybe
it's
they
on your
mess with
dad's
the
side.
DNA. Like they change your DNA.
They change your DNA, but they don't implant you. You know what I mean? Because I'm thinking like there's some women that claim that they
have
were.
alien babies.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Now I know newborns aren't really the most attractive. But I don't know if they can be traced back to that. I don't know. That one I'm still having a hard time with.
Yeah, I don't have a theory on that one. I lean towards they change your DNA.
Right. I lean towards that, like more than I just feel like that's too much trouble because they can't guarantee that everything's gonna go well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Unless they can. They keep following up.
Yeah, maybe they come up there for checkups.
Mm-hmm. Maybe so.
I think that's too much maintenance, though. I feel like they have too much to do to be like they have a busy schedule.
Yeah, we're gonna have to circle back to
that. For sure.
Yes. Well, anyway, I think that's a pretty good place to pause. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about that you didn't get to talk about?
No, you let me talk about all my weird stuff. I really appreciate you. It was so nice meeting you, and I really appreciate you inviting me. And I appreciate your patience. I'm literally a senior citizen, like stuff, like
no,
I forget stuff all the time. So
not a
thank you
problem
so
at
much.
all. If people want to find you, where can they find you? If you do not want to be found, what should people look for?
The Bermuda Triangle. No, I'm joking. You can find me on Instagram. It's RO_on_the radio, all one word. Or you can find me on Facebook. It's Ro, just RO, not ROW. Ro Bailey on Facebook.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on today. Happy holidays to everyone, and hope you have a good black hole week between Christmas and Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.